and welcome to a podcast sponsored by the Telfair County Chamber of Commerce. In fact, this is going to be a monthly podcast with regards to the Telfair Chamber and happenings going on around here in the Telfair County area. My name is Tim Deep, and I'll be your host this afternoon. I'm joined to my left by Paula Anderson, the Telfair County Chamber of Commerce Director. We have a couple of other guests. No, I'm not being arrested or anything here, I hope. But we have some special things going on with Glenn Giles and Annie Bess, and we'll get with them in just one moment. But first, we want to thank the Merchants and Citizens Bank, Deep and Deeper Cleaning, and of course the Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this podcast. And we're very excited to have the opportunity to present a lot of community events over the next few months as to what's happening in Telfair. This being our first podcast, though, we would like to dedicate this to a special person. And Paula, I'd kind of like for you to tell our viewers a little bit about who it is and why we want to dedicate it to them.
Well, several years ago, Mr. Gene Slins with the local radio station approached me about doing a monthly community update on the radio station. Many probably know that Mr. Gene passed away a couple of years ago, and because of what he wanted to do for the community by working the chamber into the radio program, we would like to dedicate this first one to Mr. Gene's, in memory of Mr. Gene Slins.
And again, Gene's a great guy. The only drawback I had against Gene was he loved the Cubs and I loved the Braves.
I'm not a big sports fan, so we didn't have that problem.
That's all right, but hey, Gene's a great guy, and we love his family, and I think that's just a wonderful gesture.
Yes.
Paula, thank you. Speaking of wonderful things and wonderful gestures, we had a nice administrative professional, I believe, banquet the other day. Is that correct, Paula? Luncheon. Mm-hmm. And some nice things came out of it, and I wonder if you could kind of tell us what's going on with that and who that special person is there with us.
Well, each year the Chamber takes nominations for an Administrative Professional of the Year from different employers, whoever wants to nominate someone. It's always a hard decision to go through our nominations to pick only one. They're all well-deserving. But this year we had the honor of presenting this award to Miss Annie Bess, and she works for, which is to my left, and she works for the McRae-Helena Police Department. And to my far right is her boss, Chief Glenn Giles with the McRae-Helena Police Department. So Miss Annie, hold up your plaque so they can see it. She was presented the plaque for 2018 Administrative Professional of the Year for the service that she provides to her employer in her position. Glenn, what would you like to say?
Thank you, Miss Ann. You do a lot for the police department and the community. A lot of times when people come in to see us, they're not in the best of mood to begin with. So you have a way of putting people in a good mood and dealing with the public in a nice way, and we appreciate that as the people that work in the office with you, and I know the community appreciates the fact of how you treat everyone. So, just thank you.
Well, one of the quotes, Glenn, that was on the application or the nomination form you submitted, you stated that she's always a happy, cheerful person who has a smile on her face that can make anyone's day better no matter how bad or good things are. And she's a dedicated employee. So we're glad to have you here today to kind of showcase our Administrative Professional of the Year. You are the first that we've been able to showcase through video. So you have anything you'd like to say?
Well, I just wanted to say that I do enjoy my job, and I thank God for having a job. I thank God for making me the person that I am. I thank my mom, who raised me to be the person I am.
Right.
And anyone that's in customer service, because really it's customer service. I took a class with Heart of Georgia Tech, but before it became Oconee Fall Line. And I tell you, that's a class that actually helped me as well, on the line. But I enjoy it. I meet different people on the phone, people that walk into the building, So I really enjoy my job. I've been here 20 years, and look, that just says a lot by itself.
Yes, it does.
So I've had several jobs, but this is one that I really, truly do enjoy. I enjoy going off to the training because it gives you a chance to network with different people and, pick up stuff that they show me, and then sometimes I have people call me that, things that I do that they like. So It's a real good job. I really do enjoy working with the guys.
Well, good. Are they kind of hard to keep up with and keeping them in line? I heard also you had to give them candy every once in a while to keep them on.
Yeah, I try
Keep
to
them
keep
sweet.
something. I try to keep something in the office for them. You know, I just buy candy and they don't want it. And look, and I got one that says, "Well, and you ain't got that. This is kind. This is kind." So I try to get something that satisfies everybody. So.
Well, that's good. Well, we thank you for the service you provide to our county through the working with the police department. We just appreciate it, and I encourage people that's watching this, if you get a chance, stop by and tell Miss Annie here at the McRae-Helena Police Department how much you appreciate the service she provides for us. You don't have to be in trouble to stop by and talk to them. They like for you to visit with them on a positive note. So stop by and let Miss Annie know that you appreciate what she does for the city of McRae-Helena and Telfair County.
And again, congratulations, Miss Annie. We're just so proud for you. And again, just to kind of throw a shout out on behalf of law enforcement, that's a hard job, and it's almost, well, it's probably worse than being an umpire in a ball game with everybody going at it, because there's so much, but I hope that all the law enforcement people in the McRae-Telfair area know how much we do appreciate what
Yes.
you do, because, you know, even though we're not a big city, y'all put your lives on the line every day.
That's
And
right.
so we really appreciate what you do for the citizens, but thank you so much. Y'all are welcome to stay with us for a few more minutes. By the way, we're coming to you from the McRae Police Department, is that correct?
The public safety
The public
facility.
safety facility. And so again, thank you guys for letting us be here. And Paula and I are going to be talking a little bit about events going on here in Telfair County. Y'all are welcome to stay with us. Or if y'all need to go, that's fine, but know that you're more than welcome, and you can probably add some stuff to what we're saying. So anyway, but thank you both, and Miss Annie, again, congratulations. Thank you for what you do. Paula, we've got a lot going on in Telfair.
One more thing.
Yeah, go ahead, Glenn,
yes.
certainly.
I'd like to say thank you to Miss Paula and the Chamber Board for, choosing Miss Ann also. So.
You're welcome.
But thank you, and we're gonna get out y'all's hair.
No.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Get out of my hair. What are you talking about?
And I don't have much more,
Oh,
Mr.
but
Tim.
Miss Annie, thank you, and we
so much.
appreciate you
It's
guys.
a great reward. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much.
Well,
All right.
thank you so much. And again, and like I say, that is a wonderful lady and a wonderful
is.
recipient. I know there's a lot of people that deal with the public throughout Telfair, yourself included, and it's a wonderful thing, but it can be a challenge.
Well, one of the things I mentioned at the luncheon the other day, wherever a customer goes in at, it's not usually the first person is not the owner or the president.
Right.
It is those ladies and men
That's right.
sitting out front. And so whether that customer's happy or upset about something, those people out front are the ones
They're the front lines.
they're getting it to start off with. So
Absolutely.
and sometimes these administrative professionals, they've had bad nights too.
That's right.
They've had issues going at home, or maybe with a sick child,
Sure.
or whatever it may be. They got the same worries that the rest of us have, and so they may not be feeling well that day either. And
That's
this
it.
person that's upset comes in, and they still handle it in a professional way, and that's a lot to say for those
Absolutely.
folks to do that.
It's
so.
a hard job.
It is.
And they do a great
And,
job.
and they handle it in a way that usually by the time that person leaves, they're in a better mood too.
Exactly.
Just like Miss Annie, you look at the position she's in,
Amazing.
and whether these people coming in for whatever reason, they may be having good days or bad days,
That's
but
it.
she keeps a smile on her face and handles it in a proper way.
And she's
so.
an inspiration.
She
There's
is.
no doubt. Well, Paula, speaking of inspired, when I looked at the newsletter you sent me the other day, I'm one of these that's guilty that sometimes say, I don't know if there's a whole lot to do in Telfair. Well, I'm publicly about to eat some words. There is a lot to do in the Telfair County area. The Chamber does an incredible job of bringing out the different activities and events, and people throughout this county have so many things. And if you're on a budget, kind of like myself or the cameraman here, John Deep, who's on a little budget too, we won't get into that too much, John. There's some really great things going that are well priced
right.
and free. And there's a couple that I looked at. So, Paula, you may want to hit a couple of these, kind of let people know what's going on here in the month of May. I'll throw in my 2 cents worth in, and to be honest with you, you don't hardly need 2 cents to go to some of these
That's
things.
true.
A lot
There's
of
a
it
lot
is
of things
free.
free.
So, Paula, if you
So-
would, what are some of the things going on here in the month of May in the Telfair area?
Well, to start off with, this is something that doesn't cost you anything. If you have an iPhone, you don't have to have a real nice camera. iPhone would work. The Okmulgee Water Trail Partnership Group, they are doing a photo contest for a 2019 calendar to promote the Okmulgee River. So if you have like I said, an iPhone, set the settings to their requirements, which is on the application, and you can submit that. Don't cost you a thing. If you're in Telfair County, you can actually pick up that form from the chamber office.
Great.
Or contact Mr. Bob Hendricks and free.
Hey,
And
man,
you
that's
may have
fantastic.
your photo published on a calendar. That'll
Absolutely.
be sold to no telling who.
Exactly, and that would be a great accomplishment, to pull up a calendar and say, hey, there's my picture.
Yes, and it is, these photos are on the hidden treasures of the Okmulgee River. They should convey recreational.
Yeah.
You could be out there fishing or kayaking or canoeing.
Oh, man.
Just nature in itself, you can ride up and down the river. You can walk up and down the banks and see all kind of nature. So there's several areas that you can submit photos on, and it's free to do it.
That's fantastic.
So-
And you can get an application from the chamber, and for those, everybody should know where the chamber is, but I guess we'll say it's near that landmark McDonald's,
It's
right
in
next
between
door.
McDonald's and the courthouse on the same side of the road.
Absolutely.
So if you go past McDonald's and you're at the courthouse and hadn't seen us, you've missed us.
There you go. But hey, it is great. Now, Paula, one of the things too that I was impressed with as I went through here, boy, y'all put a lot about education, educational opportunities, whether it's all the way from a pre-K all the way up to the adult. What are some things maybe that are going on these days with regards to
Well,
that?
we actually go a little bit further than pre-K. We try
Oh,
to
wow.
promote the Head Start program.
Okay.
Miss Linda Richardson is the director of that, and I worked with her when she was at the Lumber City Head Start, and she does an exceptional job with those students.
Good.
So Head Start is a great program. It is for ages before you get to pre-K. They're doing enrollment now for the Helena Head Start. So if you have a child between the ages of 3 and 5, you can go by Head Start and get them enrolled.
And as an educator, that's a wonderful program, because the way things are these days, children need to socialize,
They
need
do.
to get together with other children,
do.
learn how to play. And believe it or not, educationally, there's a lot of things that they're going to learn, from ABCs to counting
That's
to all
right.
that. That
Hygiene, like, learning,
Absolutely.
brushing their teeth or whatever it may be. So,
and it's a great
and
opportunity.
it is not part of our local public school system. This
Right.
is a federally funded program, but it is open to children ages 3 to 5. And like I said, I would have to say Miss Linda Richardson, and I'm sure her other staff, they do an excellent job. So
That'd be great. Maybe one day we can get them on a podcast, tell a little
that's
bit about it.
right.
It'd be
That's
wonderful.
right. They would love that.
Other things going on educationally.
Well, next step up is they're doing pre-K registration for the Telfair
Wow.
County. So you can go by the pre-K office, which is located at the Board of Education office on Huckabee Street. There are some requirements. I'm not going to list all those because it's
Right.
kind of lengthy. But you can check with the pre-K director and they can tell you. So if you're got a child in that age group, it must be 4 years
That's what I was
old,
looking
I
at thinking
believe.
about for,
Get them enrolled in pre-K. It's a great program.
It is.
So they do an excellent job there at the pre-K for the school.
And that gets them acclimated before kindergarten, so
That's
that they
right.
won't have those nerves when they get ready to
That's
go,
right.
and they can leave mama
and
not
maybe
be so
mama
bad.
might be a little bit more comfortable by
right.
that time, after a year of Head Start or pre-K, the parents are getting
Exactly.
adjusted to that also.
And as a parent, it was hard to let them go. It's hard.
Yes,
So I
my
think,
daughter cried every day all the way through the 2nd grade when I dropped her off. So.
see, I think I cried more than the kids did. So.
Well, when she cried, I cried.
I know,
So-
it happens. Going on up the line, I know that, of course, we have graduation coming up with
We do.
Telfair County as far as the high school. I'm sure that's coming up. People to be getting ready to move forward. But what are some other things? I mean, this thing is filled.
Well, once they graduate high school, college, what we call university, is not for all students, not
Exactly.
everybody. So, but it is a choice that a lot of them do make, is to go to a university, a
Right.
state college. But they also, a lot of them decide they need to learn a hands-on type education.
Sure.
So a lot of them do go to technical colleges, and a lot of them do go to one that is part of our area, which is Oconee Fall Line.
Right.
And we actually have a campus here in McRae Helena called Little Muggy Instructional Center.
Right.
So it is now time for the summer semester. So, and you don't have to be just a graduate from high school. You don't matter how old you are. You can go back to school
Right.
and learn a skill, and that will help you move on up in your career.
That's great.
So, but it is time to sign up for the summer semester. You can do that locally here at Little Oak Muggy Instructional Center or
And
at the
that's-
Dublin campus.
And that's located as you head out of town on your right, heading towards Alamo. Is that
That's correct. It's 140 North 3rd Avenue.
Great.
But as you're going toward Alamo, it's just as you're getting out of town on the right.
It's a beautiful building.
It
I've been
is.
there. It's just a great facility. It's a great place to have in our county.
Yes, and you
for
know,
that.
we need people to start use this facility. We want to keep this facility in our community to make
Exactly.
it convenient for people
Exactly.
to further their education. But there's another thing out there. Some adults, for whatever reason, never completed high school.
Right.
So most employers now require you to have a high school diploma
Yes, ma'am.
or a GED certificate. So at the Little Oak Muggy Instructional Center, you can sign up to get your GED.
And I've been a part of the GED graduations in the past
That's
to be
right,
able
I
to
have
go,
too.
and they're awesome. I mean,
Yeah.
they're impressive, and that's the thing. The students there really work hard to get that degree. And when
Yep.
you look at the other technical, the things that are offered at this technical college, I mean, there's so many things that those of us that were fortunate to go to college, we can't do.
That's
I
right.
mean, whether it's fixing a car or
That's
an air
right.
conditioner or whatever.
Welding or
Oh, any of this.
nursing or
Exactly,
whatever it may
and so
be.
that's what I say, it takes everybody, and so
That's right.
that's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, and
is.
it's a great resource here in Telfair
And
County.
you do not have to be what you young
No.
to do this. You know, used to people thought, well, I'm X age and
Yeah.
I can't go back to school.
But you can.
through this GED program, graduation of the GED students, I have seen older folks that
Yes,
have
ma'am.
went and got their GED and went on to get another type of degree,
That's it.
through the technical college.
Exactly.
So education is important. Colleges, university is not for everyone. And I did read something not long ago where they're saying now more skills, like hands-on skills, is instead of other type of degrees, is what we're looking for now, is
Exactly.
for manufacturing or those type of positions such as welding or can't think of any other
There's
skills right off.
there's so many things, like, again, there's computer skills, there's a lot of the technical skills with regards to that.
Electrical.
Technology, electrical with wiring, construction.
right.
You look, and again, auto mechanics, that's my pet peeve, because I can put air in a tire, but I'm not real good at changing oil.
Yes.
I mean, or diagnosing. So the local automotive folks are so glad that I don't know how to do that.
Yeah,
I keep them in
me
business.
too.
But seriously, it's a great pleasure. It's a great thing to be able to learn how to do that. Air conditioning repair has
That's
always
a big
been
one.
a big one,
That's
that and
right.
electricity. So this is a great resource.
It is.
So we hope people will continue
So
using it.
we're trying to service from, I guess you would say,
About-
3 years and
On up to
to
however.
99.
There you go.
As
So
long
that-
as you're breathing.
that's
you
it.
know,
And
so-
you never stop learning.
No, you
never
don't.
stop learning.
It's every day. I've been with the chamber going on 11 years, and I learn something new all the time.
Oh, we all do.
So-
Well, speaking of learning things all the time, some new stuff, I've learned that there are a number of activities here in the late spring, early summer that are offered in Telfair that really look cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some good things. In fact, we hope to have this podcast up by sometime late Monday night or by May 1st so that people can look. But there's some really neat things going on this week, next week, and on into the summer. A couple of them that I look at, and again, Paul, you may want to talk a little bit about it, even though I'm not a big golfer, I know there are a lot of folks that are. And I know there's a tournament coming up, I think, this coming weekend. You
That's
may want to
correct.
mention a couple of things about it. And then there's also, for those of us that like to get wet, there's something coming up soon.
That's correct.
Paula, a couple of things on that you could maybe kind of share with the viewers today.
Well, the next three things we're going to talk about is happening at Little Old Muggy State Park, which is one of our hidden treasures.
Yes.
We tend to forget that we have something that's practically free other than a parking fee to attend, and go out and take the children out to play on the
beautiful days like
playground,
today.
out to fishing, but there are some activities coming up. The first one will be May the 5th, which is this Saturday. It is the Spanish Moss Golf Tournament, sponsored by the Friends of the State Park, of the Little Old Muggy
Right.
State Park. There is a fee to join, but if you play golf and you want to be a part of this tournament, go out to the park and tell them you go to the pro shop or to the lodge and sign up for it. It's $100 two-person team.
Right.
So, it
And there's a big prize, a
There is.
$500 prize for the winning team.
And then, of course, they have prizes for the different things that I don't understand, like putting closest to the pin, longest drive, and a hole-in-one.
Wow.
I don't golf either.
I play a little putt-putt, but still,
I've
that's
golfed one time. A friend of mine, she wanted me to play golf. She thought she was going to get me into it. And I wound up being the comedy show on the course. So, but
you gotta enjoy it though.
there are a lot of people that enjoyed it, and if you go out to the park, there's a lot of people out there just about every day if the weather's nice.
There's a buddy of mine, I won't digress too long, a buddy of mine who's a dentist up in Macon. We went to high school together, and every time I see him, he talks about how he comes all the way from Macon with a bunch of his buddies, because he said it's one of the best golf courses in the state.
Well maintained, beautiful out there.
Yes.
So,
So that is
but
great.
there's other activities.
Yes, talk
Yes.
to me about this splash pad. That's
Well,
exciting.
The splash pad closes during the cooler months, but it will be opening on May the 25th for
Wow.
the summer. That'll be the first day open from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. I'm not for certain what the fee is. I think it's either $3 or $5 to get into the splash pad, but
Right.
always remember all state parks charge a parking fee per car, not per person.
Right.
But there is a small fee to go to the splash pad, ride out there sometime during the summer and see these children and some adults.
I was going to
having
say,
a
some of us may
blast.
want to go under
That's
the water
right.
as well.
So first day open will be May the 25th, which is the end of the month, and then periodically throughout the summer. So
That is great. And I know this, too, that I know this is a little bit ahead, and we'll probably repeat this in our June podcast, but there is a little camp that's going
There
on
is.
out there in the first part of June. And
Yes.
what is that about?
well, and the reason I mention it now is so they can go ahead and start getting their children enrolled in it.
Good.
But it's the Little Old Muggy State Park Junior Friends Camp, and this is done also by the Little Old Muggy Friends Group. And these kids get out there, and it gives them an opportunity to learn about and experience nature, releasing their artistic ability.
Oh, wow.
So I assume that means they may paint a little bit
They'll
or build something.
love it. They'll love it.
They exercise through playing, games and different
Right.
things, and they make new friends
Oh,
while
yeah.
they're there too. So, and it's like I always say about tourism. Tourism's not something that you pick up and bring home with you. It's about the memories you bring home.
That's
so these
right.
children are making memories through this camp and learning about
Fantastic.
the outdoors too. There's 2 weeks of it. Ages 5 through 8 is June the 4th through the 7th, and ages 9 through 12 is June the 11th through the 14th. And it's $35 per child, and you do need to pre-enroll them in this. So just stop by the park, and they can get you that enrollment form and get your child enrolled in it. So,
Cool. So there's a lot of things going on, but if you thought that was it, there's still some other
There's
things. That's what I'm saying.
still some more.
When I looked at this, I thought this is really incredible. All that's going on.
May is a busy month usually
really
every
is.
year. So
It really is. Tell me a little bit about this walk through Telfair's past. My mom, who's 94, loves history and loves, learning about people that came before her and all. Again, this walk through Telfair's past. If I could get her with her walker, she'd probably go with us. Tell us a little bit about what's going on here.
Well, this is sponsored by the Pioneer Historical Society, which, you know, historical, that tells us they're all about our history.
Right.
I'm not exactly sure what it's going to entail. They haven't gave out a lot of details, but I believe that it's going to be highlighting some of the folks that have gone on before us at Oak Grove Cemetery, and possibly they're going to have folks that are dressed like some of these historical folks
Oh, wow.
and reenacting some of their history. So there's 2 times to do this. If you're too tired when you get off work Friday afternoon, you can go Saturday morning. But if you feel like going in the afternoon because you don't want to get up early enough, that early on Saturday,
Yeah.
you can go the Friday afternoon. So it's this Friday at 5:30 or Saturday at 10 a.m. and you can buy your tickets at Riles Drug Store, and they're only $10 a person.
That's in the
So,
budget. That's a great thing.
Cheap.
Great,
cheap.
absolutely.
So, like I said, I think it's going to kind of be reenactments of Telfair County citizens told from the tombstone.
Oh,
Not like
wow.
a haunted theme.
No.
But talking about some of our historical folks and things that went, you know.
And
they
knowing
were-
the creativity of so many people here, I bet some of them will try to have costume like the time period.
I
would
really
imagine.
think that's what's going to happen.
So that would be wonderful on that. So
I think
again,
Tom and I are going Friday afternoon.
so that I may try to get it Saturday, but you know, May 4th and 5th, you can't beat the times on that. 5:30 in the afternoon, people are off work on Friday or Saturday morning.
10 a.m.
Have plenty of time to get a little breakfast and go over
That's
there for a
right.
nice morning. And again, the weather's supposed to be good for those
That's
days.
right.
So that would be great. I notice we have the National Day of Prayer mentioned, which again is a great, and that's coming up this week very
May the
soon.
3rd. Yes.
And again, that's going to be where?
It will be held at the Telfair County Courthouse on the outside. Usually it's on the Oak Street side of the building, unless it's raining, and it will go to World Outreach Church, which is a little further south of the courthouse
And that's
on
what-
Oak Street.
And that's one of the nice things about this town, this community. We have so many faith-based people.
We do.
So many churches and so many people. We've got good people here in Telfair. We really do. And again, there'll be so many out there that again feel that prayer, you know, as I do too, is such an essential part of our life. And to be
is.
able to share that, and again to promote the National Day of Prayer, I think that's a
right.
wonderful.
That begins at 12 o'clock this Thursday.
And it goes 12 to 1 o'clock,
That's
and as
correct.
you just said, in case of rain, at the World Outreach Church.
That's
So
correct.
that'd be great. Tell me about dog dipping and
Well-
vaccination clinics and all. My wife is a pet owner. I kind of claim our dog. Oh, there's something I think going on with this coming up Saturday where they help with their care and
It is.
getting vaccinated. What's going on there?
I believe this is in common. Lumber City Hardware is holding it, but I think it's to do with the spay and neuter clinic that's here in McRae.
Right.
Combination of them two working together. But it's this Saturday from 10 to 2 at Lumber City Hardware.
Good.
You can bring your dog. This is dogs, not cats.
Okay.
Not your pet squirrels, but dogs. Free flea, tick, and mange dog dip.
So when they put the stuff on, that helps them as far as knocking out fleas, ticks, and it helps the overall health of the dog.
That's correct.
Great.
But if your dog is needing vaccines, there's different types. I didn't realize there were so many, and I can't tell you
Wow.
what a 5-way is, what that includes. But there's several levels. You have a 5-way vaccine for $10, 7-way for $12, rabies vaccine 1 year 10, and you can do the 3 year at $15, and they can actually test for heartworms on site for $20.
That's good.
And best of all, 20% off all the pet supplies at Lumber City
Oh
Hardware.
man, that's a fantastic deal. Now Rover may not like getting the shot,
Well,
but Rover needs the shot. So
Yeah.
we've got to make sure. But that is fantastic.
so it's just something else, you know. There's
Oh,
something,
yes.
everybody has a need, and this is somebody feeling a need for someone with pets. So,
Exactly. And again, you know, you want to keep, especially this time of year, as so many of you know, with animals that are roaming and go around, you would hate for your dog to be bit and possibly
Have
contract rabies when you can take care of it in this
That's right.
manner. So that'd be great. The two that I know we're getting towards the end, but the two that really intrigued me the most when I looked at this was Paddle the Forks, which sounds like I get to get on a little boat or a canoe And then also Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers.
What better combination than them two
Oh
right
my
there?
God. So let's take a
Islands
look.
of the Stream.
That's exactly the one I was thinking about.
Don't ask me to sing that now, Tim.
No, but still, it was a great song. I sure can't do
was.
Kenny. But well, why don't we start with Dolly and Kenny and then go to Paddle the Forks here, because they're both on the same day. And you can have a big day on here, Paula.
Yeah. Well, the tribute to Dolly and Kenny, that is sponsored by the Pioneer Historical Society up at the Telfair Center for the Arts.
Okay, beautiful
which
facility.
It is, which most of the locals, we know it as the old South Georgia College Auditorium. But they're doing this, the tribute show in conjunction with a Mother's Day dinner available at Cedar Lane. You can purchase a ticket for $25, show your ticket at Cedar Lane, and you will be treated to a prime rib supper.
So you're talking, you get the ticket. Will that get you into the concert as
It
well?
does. It does.
You can't beat that.
You can't beat that. So, children or even fathers, take your wives. Husbands, take your wives. If your children don't live at home, or take your wives and your children
There you
and
go.
buy y'all all a ticket to dine on a prime rib supper at Cedar Lane Supper Club, and that begins between 5 and 5:30 for your supper.
Right.
And then when you get through there, you take your ticket with you around to Telfair Center for the Arts and enjoy a show, a tribute to Dolly and Kenny.
I mean, really, you can't beat that. Prime rib with all the fixings, and of course, because they have that great salad bar out
That's
there at
right.
Cedar Lane. And then to go from there and to go to a concert, that is a fantastic
It is.
gift, and it's a fantastic event.
And most everybody, you know, and of course, the only thing that could make this better if it was really Dolly and Kenny.
There you go. But
But they have had some folks in the past that do tributes to other performers,
Right.
and they do a really great job. And when I was looking at this picture,
oh,
they almost look like Dolly and
They
Kenny. I
really
mean, they are so
do.
close. So, you know, these tickets, they can purchase them at Riles Drugstore, CJ's Florist, or online at tcfta.com. That stands for Telfair Center for the Arts.
and again, what a fantastic. Earlier in that day, though, if you are a fan of the river and paddling and all that, before you go to the show, just put on that sunscreen when you get ready
That's
to go
right.
to this next one. It's called Paddle the Forks.
Yes.
What's Paddle the Forks?
All right, well, this is, earlier we was talking about the calendar, the photos.
Right.
This is the same group, the Muggy Water Trail Partnership Group that's sponsoring this. This is their third annual paddle, but this time it's in Telfair County where it begins at. So
Oh, okay,
Telfair
good.
County basically is hosting it here. But Paddle the Forks, you're thinking forks, you're thinking about something you're eating with.
Yes, yes.
But what you're actually going to do, you're going to put your canoe or your kayak in at the Lumber City boat landing in Lumber City,
Right.
which is where the train trestle's at, and you're going to paddle all the way down to Towns Bluff Park, which is on the Altamahaw. So
okay.
to get from one point to the other, you're going to go through the forks of the river, which
Right.
the Altamahaw River is created by the Okmulgee River and the Oconee River coming together. They actually butt like this,
Yeah.
and then they go out and form the Altamahaw. So they're calling it Paddle the Forks. It's the forks of the river.
Right.
So you can do that the May the 12th. I believe they will be meeting up. I think it's 7:30 for registration. It's not on here, but you can go online to register for this event at the oldmuggiewatertrail.com, and it will begin at the Lumber City Boat Landing. Bring your kayak, your canoe. It's registration until April the 15th, which we already passed. That was $35, but after April the 15th, it's $40 to do it, and I believe that gets you a T-shirt and possibly a meal that afternoon.
I can imagine that probably the scenery of where you will go
Yes.
would probably be just gorgeous, and not everybody can see that from the roads
That's
or whatever.
correct.
So this is a real event for those of you that enjoy that. I went on a river raft race one time back when I was about 19 or 20 up in Macon, and we were able to go on the Okmulgee and to see the sights. I thought, God, these are things I've never seen.
Yeah.
So I know this is going to be probably even better.
Well, and you know, as you said, not many people have been to the confluence of the rivers. I have seen it, but only from land. I have never paddled it, never been on the boat down in that area. I would love to do this one, but it's probably a little bit longer of a paddle than I
Right.
probably could do. It's probably going to be 5 to 6 hour paddle. I think I remember them saying around 14 miles.
Wow.
But there's a lot of people that will love doing it.
Absolutely.
It is, if you can sit in a kayak or canoe that long, you will thoroughly enjoy it.
Exactly.
And
I'm sure there's lots of safety precautions. There's people. I'm sure there'll be people
I'm
to
sure
help
they'll
monitor
go,
and all.
right. I'm sure they'll go over that when they get there, that morning before they launch off with their kayaks
Exactly.
and canoes. So,
Man, this is like we say. There's so much going on, but even in addition to all these events, one of the things you and I talk about with the chamber and all is that the chamber has access when people call, what kind of employment opportunities are available, or who do I need to see about a job? I know there's a few things here, Paula, that I noticed that for people that are looking for jobs or looking for
Right.
ideas, could you maybe give us a little idea on some of the things maybe that are offered out there?
well, you'll notice there's a lot of employers listed on this list here, but also there's 2 other organizations that are not the employer that's hiring. They will help you find a job,
Right.
and that is the Georgia Department of Labor out of Eastman, and then the Job Training Unlimited here in McRae, Helena. But Coca-Cola, they're usually, they're always not necessarily here. This website that's listed is for the whole Coca-Cola company.
Right.
But you can go on and see if they're hiring at our local
Sure.
plant here. Husqvarna, they're every day looking for employees.
And what an asset to the community they and Coca-Cola are.
All these
Big.
employers listed are a great asset to our community. But if you're looking for a job, at Husqvarna, come out to the guard shack at Husqvarna, and they'll give you an application. And they are actually doing full-time employees now.
That's great.
So,
That's great.
Little Old Muggy State Park, I noticed recently they were looking for some positions up at the lodge, but occasionally they hire in different other positions outside of the lodge itself. So go out there if you're looking for a job and talk with them. Recently I seen where Lumber City Hardware was looking for an employee. They may have filled that position, but it doesn't hurt to stop by and ask them if they're hiring.
That's right.
I did see recently, in fact today, Lumber City Nursing and Rehab in Lumber City is looking for some employees, so go out there and ask for an application. Oconee Fall Line Technical College on the Dublin campus was recently looking for to fill a position, so go online.
And that's driving distance.
And it
Not bad
is.
at all. Not bad at all.
Telfair Forest Products in Lumber City, they're kind of like Husqvarna, they're continuously looking for good employees. So, that's not that, all these are good driving distance, within around the county. Telfair State Prison, they work really hard trying to fill their positions. So they do applications there at the facility. And Wheeler County Correctional, which is part of Core Civic, and
Right.
which we have McRae Correctional Facility here, which is part of Core Civic. But Wheeler County Correctional has been looking for to fill positions too. So, and there may be more. You can always check with the Georgia Department of Labor. You can
Right.
go online and search, and you can find open positions, even those that I may not know about.
Exactly. And
So-
again, like I say, all of these are just vital to this area.
They are.
And they're all the time, there is turnover in a lot of the workforces. So again, this is one segment that we'll definitely want to keep as we go over the next few
Yes.
months. And if you do have questions, I'm sure Paula at the Chamber would be more than happy to assist you. And then Paula, speaking of the Chamber, and I know we're getting close to the end, and again, like I say, I've enjoyed it, but being a member of the Chamber of Commerce is not only a great civic thing, but there are some rewards and benefits to come to you as an individual or as a business. And
correct.
there was one you were telling me before we leave today that is nice. It's something to do with, I think, AirMed.
That's correct.
What is that?
Well, the Chamber, we try to offer exposure for your business. We work on economic development with the Development Authority. We're promoting tourist things throughout, like we've done today. We're
Right.
promoting our community. So, and 2 of the things that we already had that was for a business that was potential savings for that business if they were a member of our chamber was they could possibly qualify for discounts on their commercial or property equipment insurance.
Great.
So they would have to talk to their insurance agents. Not all insurance companies offer that, but a lot of them do.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, chamber members that have workers' comp and wanted to save on their workers' comp premium, they could do the Drugs Don't Work program. So that was two things that could save them on their property insurance premiums and their workers' comp premiums.
Fantastic.
Now, the other thing that we have just signed on for, most of us call it AirEvac. We think about the helicopter, we say AirEvac.
Right.
There are different companies. This one is AirMed Care, and they wanted to partner with the chamber to offer chamber members and their employees of our members a discount to enroll in the Lifelight program, where if you should need that service and that helicopter comes and picks you up, typically your medical insurance that you have is not going to pay 100%.
And it's
And
probably
it's very
expensive,
expensive
yeah.
from what I can been told. But this, if you are a member of AirMed Care and you pay that annual enrollment, then whatever your medical health insurance does not pay, this covers the rest of it.
And is there a price on that?
There is. For members of the chamber, or businesses that are member and their employees, they can join for $55. That's a household.
Now, is that a year for
That's
one?
a year.
You can't
I
beat
think
that.
it's they didn't give me the regular pricing. It's either 60 or 65. It's not a big, we're not talking about half of it being saved, but if everybody's like me, I save $5, I save $10,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Oh, yeah,
I save $1, I'm happy.
exactly.
So,
And you look at a program like this, for $55, you hope you'll never need it.
that's right.
But in that case, and we've seen it in this county where people have had to be
numerous
airlifted.
times.
So for $55, I sound like that infomercial, that's less than a penny a day. Honestly, that's a fantastic value for a
It is.
real service you don't want to use, but if you got to, thank the Lord you got it.
That's right. You can do this membership for, instead of paying annually, you can do the same savings like doing it for 3 years and have the same savings that you would on a 1 year,
Right.
you triple the amount, but
Sure.
it is, I can't remember exactly the original, it's either $5 to $10 more than what this is. So if you working for a business that is a member of the Telfair County Chamber of Commerce, you come by or ask your employer to request it. We'll give you the application that's got our code on it for the chamber. You fill it out, send in your payment to AirMed or give it to me, and I'll get it to them.
Right.
And you've got that service that you hope you don't need. It's just like health insurance. We hope we don't need it, or car insurance.
Right, that's
we hope
right.
we don't need it, but
But it happens sometimes.
it does.
And so to have that,
And,
well, you mentioned being a member of the chamber, and as we get ready to close out this afternoon, I'm looking on this back page, and I don't know whether John can get a close-up of it or not, that's fine if you can't. Y'all, this is a tremendous number of businesses. I don't know, John, if you can catch that or not. But again, that are members of the chamber.
And individuals.
And individuals,
On the
too.
right, there's individuals. And most of our businesses that are in Telfair
Thank you, John.
can join the chamber right around $125. It depends on how many employees you have. 50 and below employees, it's going to be $125. Professional services, $125. The more employees you have, the fee goes up. But if you don't join the chamber for no other reason than to save on your property insurance premiums, your workers' comp premiums,
Yeah.
and on the AirMed, you've earned your money right
You
there.
have. You really have.
You've already recouped that. But in addition, even if you're not interested in those services, joining the Chamber of Commerce is good because it allows us then, not just me, but whoever may be, one day there'll be somebody else in my position,
Yeah.
but to
That
go out and to promote our county, whether it's for tourism, events that we're having, or working with our development authority or the state on the state level for industry, retail. So we encourage everyone that can to please join the Chamber of Commerce.
Absolutely.
It helps us carry out what we need, our work.
That's it. And again, it also helps the world know about the great things going on
That's
here in
right.
Telfair County. Paul, I want to thank you for
Thank you,
agreeing
Mr.
to do
Tim.
it. I've had a ball.
Yeah, I have too.
I've learned a lot.
Well,
and I
this is-
appreciate it.
May is a busy month. There's some months it's not as much, but there's usually something going on every month.
Well, we really
So-
appreciate it. We want to thank, too, not only the Chamber for sponsoring this today, but also Merchants and Citizens Bank, Deep Productions. And also, again, one more time, this program was dedicated to Gene Schlins because Gene kind of got the ball rolling back quite a few years ago
That's
when
right.
he was big with the radio station, our local radio station, and having a monthly program with Paula. And I'm just so glad that we're able to pick this up and keep it going. Probably about this time, about the end of May, 1st of June, we'll get back together.
But you know what, Mr. Tim?
What's that?
I always look better on the radio than I do on the
No,
video.
we won't even go there. And we're not even going to talk about the makeup I could use up here. So us two beautiful people are saying so long to Telfair County. I hope you enjoy it, enjoy the show, and enjoy Telfair County and all the events.
Yes, thank you.
It's a great place to live. Thank you.
Bye.